Hey everybody, it is Woodrow from 11 O'Clock Comics, and as you can see, we are going to take a look at the Marvel Previews catalog for the month of April 2023. And of course, these are books that will mainly be hitting shelves in June, or in some cases a bit later. The big news of the month is no doubt the fact that Jonathan Hickman is teaming up with Brian Hitch and rebirthing the Ultimate Universe. I have to be honest, if this was any other writer, I probably wouldn't be that excited. But Hickman has such a strong track record and is coming off, of course, his complete rebirthing and reshifting of the mutant world, and it was such a success that I think he's built up a lot of justified goodwill among us. And so we've got Ultimate Invasion, #1 of a 4-issue limited series. And I know that Hitch isn't everybody's cup of tea, but I think he's excellent with these big event books, like these mega multi-character cosmic level events. I think he's very good at that, and I also think it's cool that they're having Hickman team up with Hitch because Hitch was so formative in the earliest stages of the original incarnation of the Ultimate Universe. So I just have a lot of faith that this is going to be grand in scope and very well executed. So I'm looking forward to the ride. What happens beyond that point with the Ultimate Universe, still to be determined. But I have very little doubt that this event itself will be just a hoot. We've got a new volume of Black Panther. This time it's written by Eve Ewing with art by Chris Allen, which you can see here is one of the Stormbreakers of note these days, like one of Marvel's featured artists. This is coming directly off of the last volume, which I thought was really well done. And as you can see, T'Challa is a king without a crown at the moment. So, again, we'll have to see how this goes. But I'm generally a fan of Black Panther in all of its incarnations. So no surprise that I'd be excited for this one. As we have a new beginning in the Black Panther, we have, I guess, unfortunately, an end of an era with Captain Marvel #50, which is Kelly Thompson's final issue. She has done 50 issues of this book, and I don't feel like it got the praise or the accolades that a 50-issue run would normally get, particularly when it's this well done. But that's neither here nor there. I've enjoyed it, and I think many of you have, and I have no doubt that she will finish up her run in style. So we've got this issue is drawn by Javier Pina and others, and I'll be sad to see her go from this book. But no doubt, she certainly put in her work and made her mark, and I'm sure she's got other exciting things ahead at the House of Ideas. You all know how I feel about Avengers and that we've got a new version. I spent quite a few minutes in last month's video praising Jed MacKay as the choice to take over the book. I think he's perfect. It's his time. And C.F. Vila is certainly another one of the Stormbreakers, and his art is certainly, or their art, honestly, I don't know if C.F. Vila is a man or a woman, but their art is certainly more than up to snuff. So can't wait for this new Avengers arc to hit my inbox. And we've got Guardians of the Galaxy #3. Kelly and Lansing are the new Abnett and Lanning. You've heard it here first. Kev Walker's back. Again, as I said last month, it's fun having Kev Walker back doing Guardians after he did a big chunk of the Abnett and Lanning run back in the day. And it looks like we've got a new version of Groot, all grown up Groot, super tough Groot, badass Groot. So it's fun how they kind of reimagine Groot every so often, every few years. I'm here for that. Jumping over to the mutant universe, we've got Immortal X-Men #12. I continue to call Immortal X-Men the best mutant book by yet another Stormbreaker, Lucas Werneck, written by Kieran Gillen. As you can see, this cover, which is by Mark Brooks. Mark Brooks has just been doing jaw-dropping covers for this series. Man, oh man. And let me look at the metallic reflection of Colossus in this painting. It's just absurd. But as you can see, we've got our former power couple, Kitty Pryde and Colossus, at odds here, which is a bummer. But nonetheless, this book has yet to let me down. We've got X-Men Red, which I think is the second best book, mutant book out, written by Al Ewing, art this time by Jacopo Comani. Now, I don't know Jacopo's work, at least not offhand, but I'm hoping he is able to carry the torch of what will no doubt be very strong storytelling from Al. Two of my favorite secondary mutant books these days is Wolverine number 34 and X-Force number 41. I will note that X-Force is drawn by Paul Davidson. I've really enjoyed Robert Gill's long run on the book. I don't know offhand if Davidson's like the new ongoing or if he's filling in. I'm not too familiar with his work, but very much love what Ben's been doing with X-Force. And it's where I go every month to see my girl Domino. So I can't quit that. And then we've got Wolverine, also written by Percy. It's probably why they're on the same page here, solicited, with Juan Jose Rip on art, who's been doing much of the art of late, much to Vince B's joy. And as you can see here on the solicit, Wolverine versus Weapons of X. So just take my money. Yeah, that is totally up my alley. X-Men number 23, that's the titular X-Men, written by Jerry Duggan with art by Josh Cassara. I love Josh as a human being, and I love his work. He's a former Stormbreaker. I believe he was a Stormbreaker last year, but this is the, I guess you'd call it the main X-Men book, and we've got, as you can see, some Sentinel shenanigans going on. And then we jump over to the Captain America world. I probably sound like a broken record because every month I tell you all that you need to be reading Captain America Sentinel of Liberty and Captain America Symbol of Truth. Hopefully some of you are listening to me. We just had a crossover between the two books, and it wrapped up with a Cold War issue that finalized things. I haven't read that yet because it hasn't hit the stands, but this is the aftermath. So we've got issues number 13 and 14 of Liberty and Truth. Same creative teams on the writing as has been the case. You've got Kelly and Lansing on the Steve Rogers book and Toki Onyebuchi on the Sam Wilson book. So far these books have been must-reads for me every month, and I don't expect that to change anytime soon, at least as long as those creative teams stay involved. Doctor Strange number 4, another Jed McKay gem with Andy McDonald on art. This book is, it didn't need to do much to entice me back because I'm a fan of the character, but then you give me Wong, Agent of Wand, which is obviously a play on S.H.I.E.L.D. It's the S.H.I.E.L.D. covert mystical arm. So that's just all kinds of great. I mean, that is what makes comics fun, and I wish we saw more of it, more of this kind of like tongue-in-cheek quasi-silliness, but I can't wait to see what they have there. Then we've got Clobberin' Time, number 4 of 5. This is by Steve Skroce, written and drawn. I gushed about the first issue. It was the best thing I read that week, a few weeks back. This is just Skroce's take on the old Marvel team-up concept of Ben Grimm and someone else. This month, as you can see, we've got Ben Grimm and Dr. Doom paired up. I don't think I've mentioned this book much lately, but Thor, which here we have number 35, with Stormbreaker Nick Klein. This is just a Stormbreaker extravaganza. It's written by Torunn Grønbekk, and apologies if I've got that name wrong. I may well be mispronouncing it, and I feel bad if I am. But he took over somewhat unexpectedly when Donny Cates had to take a step away unexpectedly. And I think he was dealt a tough hand because of that, but I think he's risen to the occasion. And we've got the finale of the Blood of the Fathers arc here, and another Dr. Doom arc, by the way, so Doom's getting some love of late. But yeah, I think Torunn deserves some love, and I wanted to make sure I mentioned this book as one that I'm enjoying. Planet of the Apes, number 3. Once again, written by David Walker with art by good friend of the show, Dave Wachter. I very much enjoyed the first issue, despite not being what I would call a huge Planet of the Apes fan, like at least in terms of the comics lore. This is very much, if you haven't guessed from the cover treatment, a take on the modern film version. which is why I can understandably it didn't hit as hard with Vince as it would have if it was based on the old school films from the 60s and 70s. But I very much loved the modern films and wasn't too beholden to those older films. So I'm here for this. And Wachter is not only a friend of ours, but he's just not morphed, but he's, I think, slowly but surely evolved into just one of the great storytellers in comics, and this is no exception. As you know, Marvel puts out just an insane number of archival collected editions each month. I never understand how they can put that many out, because I don't know who the buyers are. Even if you've got a massive budget and a big comic room, you can't buy 8 or 9 omnibus in a given month. But hey, that's for them to figure out, not me. All I can do is tell you which ones I'm interested in, and we've got a 3-pack of Omnibus that I will be picking up this month. Up first, Black Panther by Christopher Priest, Volume 2. We waited forever and ever to get a Black Panther by Priest omnibus. We finally got it, and to Marvel's credit, they're following it up with a second volume, which collects Black Panther 34 through 62, as well as some tie-in issues. It also has The Crew, which was a really awesome miniseries, 7-issue miniseries, by the way, featuring Casper Cole and a bunch of other black heroes of the time. So yeah, I'm very excited for this one and have been waiting for it. A much deeper cut, but one I'm going to be getting, is the New Warriors Classic Omnibus Volume 3. Once you pick up 1 and 2, how can you not get 3, right? Like, just being a completionist, it's hard to totally cure yourself of that collection addiction. And I'm gonna, as long as they put up the New Warriors Omnibus, I'm gonna keep picking them up until we have all of it. This collects New Warriors 54 through 75, as well as a handful of miniseries that tied into all that stuff. And I wouldn't say this is like must-have. This is purely if you enjoyed that New Warriors run back in the day, which I did. And then last but certainly not least, we've got Excalibur Omnibus Volume 3. This is Excalibur 68 through 103, the 2 annuals, and then some adjacent tie-in books. It's also got the Kitty Pryde and Pete Wisdom 3-issue miniseries from back in the day. Again, just about completionist Excalibur, although certainly the earlier issues, which mostly drawn by Alan Davis, and many of which were written by Alan Davis, are the the stuff that stood the historical test of time and are must-have. I think everybody should have those on their shelves in some way. I recognize that this stuff isn't as requisite. If I don't think it historically ended up being as significant. Much of this was written by other writers like Scott Lobdell and some people you probably don't even remember much, like Evan Skolnick and Richard Ashford. Ostrander, I think, did some. I think Warren Ellis did a bit. So yeah, I mean, this book was a bit more in kind of like a lower selling mode, where they were rotating in lots of different people, both writing and artist. So again, a bit more of a deep cut here, but man, oh man, do I love and have fond memories of the entire first Excalibur run. And so yeah, I'm gonna grab this one and put it on my shelves. So there you have it. That is the entirety of what I am most excited about from Marvel this month. And hopefully you all found a few ideas, or maybe I helped you decide yay or nay, depending on what I chose to highlight. And as always, please do let me know if you think I missed anything. It's always possible, although, I think I probably have the vast majority of the stuff that, at least from an archival perspective, that they solicited in some form or another, whether it be the old original single issues or some other collection. So anyway, I'm still interested in hearing if you think I missed something in this walkthrough. And as always, thanks for listening, and be sure to finalize those orders in the coming days. And I will be back next month for show.